I don't really have anything funny to say today. This is Fragments of Silicon.
All right, welcome to another installment of Fragments of Silicon. I'm your host, sorry. I'm your host, Adam. Joining me as always are Petty and Gallix. It's been a rough day. Like it's, I suppose, been a rough day and a half
Weak
to
for
two
some of us,
days.
but yes.
I'm like, the point is, it's not been good times recently,
Mm,
but um, sounds like some of it's shared, some of it's separate. And on that note, Petty, I think you volunteered to go first here with that.
well, it started out with Saturday. One of my mom's headlights went out in her car. Figured no big deal. We'll go get a replacement. Well, the first replacements I got were the wrong ones. Apparently, the Walmart app just straight up told us the wrong headlights to get. So we got that replaced, and then find out the new headlights still are not working. So best case, we got another defective headlight. It'll be an easy replacement. Worst case, my mom needs to take the car to the mechanic and get her headlight fixed, which is going to be expensive. So
Mm,
that's been my weekend. And then I'm pretty sure I don't need to go into yesterday. Just a whole lot of this really sucks. As far as gaming goes, not a whole lot on my front. I did get the box for Breath of the Wild because I bought it off GameFly, so it's mine now. And I got Final Fantasy Type Zero HD for the Xbox One. It's I can definitely tell it was a PSP game. That's for damn sure. It reeks of that era. So that's been wouldn't say really been occupying my time. I haven't really played it since Saturday, but and I guess something I've also been messing around with is a arcade a game called Arcade Paradise, which is like part laundromat sim where you also have a coin arcade in the back. It's interesting, but definitely chugs a bit on the Xbox One, which I mean I guess fair because at the end of the game. At the end of the day, it's still a sim game, and those they weren't very nice to previous gen consoles. So I may see if I can find time to download it on the PC and see if it runs better there. And that's about it on my end. So Gulix, if you have anything you want to discuss.
Well, I don't particularly feel like regaling you with my ongoing minor mental health crisis, so
Fair.
uh, I did finally get all the stuff fixed for my car. The problem, apparently, was that the reason the parts that were missing was because the windshield had been replaced with an aftermarket one at some point, so it didn't fit.
Oh, I hate when they do that shit and don't disclose it.
Yeah, I if they'd told me, I may or may not have been okay with it, but it took way too long, and there was
Yeah,
communication was bad throughout. So
yeah.
I'm glad to have it over with, and
Any update on that sleep study stuff you were doing?
I did it. That was one of the 2 nights this week I didn't sleep for shit.
Mm,
Technically, it was during the weekend because I thought it was fallback, so that would help. But
yeah.
it didn't really. I just did not sleep for most of that night.
Any idea how much sleep you did get?
I mean, in a row, not more than 2 or 3 hours. Maybe an additional hour or two on top of that in like half-hour increments.
If you can get around 4 hours, that's really all they need, like just throughout the night.
Yeah, they said they wanted 7 to 9, but yeah.
They, as someone who had few sleep studies done, they can do with 4 at least.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So that was stressful. And
Mhm.
just apparently the new patient thing that they did before I even got to do that cost $350, so I don't even want to know how much they're going to charge me. Sorry,
Ew.
my insurance talked it down to 320.
Fuck.
And that's going towards deductible. So I mean, it's not like I absolutely can't handle that, but
Hmm.
it's not what I'm looking forward to, and I have no idea how much they're going to charge for the actual thing. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm not on. I know you got your stuff through Medic Air Aid,
Medicaid,
I
yes.
think. So I don't have that because I have an actual job, but unfortunately, actual job insurance doesn't necessarily cover all the
Yeah,
things.
usually you need a special thing for durable medical
And they
equipment
they
like
did
that.
approve it, so
Hmm.
it's going toward the deductible or something. It's just until I've paid the deductible, they don't really cover much.
Right.
And then afterwards, they cover I think something like 60% because it's absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Welcome to healthcare. It fucking sucks.
So yeah, there was that. In slightly better news, the replacement Xbox controller I needed for my PC after the other one broke came. I haven't, because of generally feeling like shit for most of the last several days, haven't
Mhm.
tried out to figure out if there are any parts of it that are salvageable, the cord or the probably. I'm guessing the battery pack is probably good, but anyway, the new
Is
one
it
I
an
got
Xbox
is
One battery pack?
the battery pack is the same.
Yeah, I was about to say, because if it was from a Xbox One, those are intercompatible with the new series, quote unquote, series
Yeah.
controllers.
Yeah, no,
Because,
the battery pack looks the same. It's just like an imitation AA batteries,
yeah,
with a little
cut out
data
nub on the
thingy
top, yeah.
to tell to so it knows what it is.
Well,
The
yeah,
cord isn't compatible anyway because the new one I think is a
Type C,
USB-C and the
yeah.
other one was a micro. But anyway, it came and I was curious since Petty Fan said the D-pad on the series controller is better, even though aesthetically I don't like it.
It's better is subjective, it depends what you play. Because it's micro switched instead of whatever the hell they were using
It
for the.
theoretically works better anyway.
Yes.
I just don't like. I'm not a huge fan of it aesthetically. I prefer my D-pads to be cross-shaped
Yeah.
and not.
Disc.
Yeah.
Disc or
However,
dome,
there's something
depending.
said for it because the way the game I played to test it out, I. You may remember a while ago, I decided to try to play through Bloodstained Ritual of the Night again on the PC or whatever when they
Hmm.
came out with the new DLC. And I ended up getting stopped because I couldn't do the fucking flashing air kick
Yeah.
to get the pirate's hat, and I am an absolute luck whore in Metroidvanias because I like to try to get all the items anyway. So, um, and with the new thing, my success rate with pulling it off has gone up. It seems like so I was able to actually accomplish that. So,
Yeah, for inputs like that, micro switched D-pads help significantly.
so perhaps I will continue playing that some when I'm feeling
Mentally
less
there.
less mental health crisis.
Hmm.
Luckily, I had already had a scheduled therapist appointment today, so that helped some.
Mm. Anything else?
Not really.
Alrighty then.
All right. That means it's my go.
Yep.
Now, today was just kind of being in a fugue state due to, um, well, not just the election results, but going up off of no sleep for about a day and a half there,
Hmm.
thanks to all of the, you know, adrenaline in the system because, of the panic and fear and other assorted emotions.
Hmm.
Head's been clearing up, hopefully. Like, but, outside of that, the week's been fairly quiet. Like, um, as far as gaming goes, yeah, I haven't done a lot of that in the past couple of days for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
It's like my focus was pretty attendant on one thing, and
Right.
so with that in mind, we shall roll along to the interview portion of the broadcast. And joining us this week is Antonio Iglesias of Kraken Empire.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine. Well, I guess,
Fine-ish.
yeah. Relative
Um,
fine there, yes.
yeah. Um, right. So, how we like to get started is we like to get to know the people behind the game, the studio, and all of that business. And we begin that journey by asking this particular question: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
Huh. I started playing video games when I was 6 years old. I was interested in every kind of machine. I was kind of an engineer from a child, and then I discovered a video game, and I didn't understand how that worked. So it took me years to understand how that was going on, what's going on behind. It was the first game I discovered was Ghosts and Goblins, and it's an awesome game. Too difficult, but an awesome game.
Yes.
And that was my first contact with video games, and I was hooked from that very moment.
Okay.
Professionally, it came later. I started. I didn't know what to study when I was finishing the basic studies, and when I was jumping to university, I decided to go for informatic engineering. That's some kind of computer science. Um, but I didn't thought really about working in video games until I discovered that every project I was assigned in the university ended in making a video game. So I discovered I just wanted to make video games because I couldn't stop making them. So
Like, I mean, I suppose that makes sense. Like, um, and so when you got out of university, did you immediately jump into the games industry, or did you go into another field first?
yeah, I was hired by kind of an antivirus company making kind of databases for internet service providers. At the beginning, it was like I think like something 6 months job, something like that, and then I jumped into video games straight. Yeah, as soon as possible.
Hmm. And how long ago was this?
I've been making video games for 18 years now, and I was working in Madrid. I'm based in Spain, so I was working in Madrid for 5 years. and then I created my own studio, and we have been developing games in this studio for 13 years now. So it's a long time making video games.
Like, and how big is Kraken Empire these days?
We started first game was called Chromaya. It's kind of a space shooter, and we made the game just two developers. It was just two of us, and we started this game, Toy Tactics, being just two. But then we grew to like 25, 30 people. And now that we have finished the game, we have scaled down again. We're right now like six developers again, and trying to start a new project.
Okay, so fairly sizable for an indie developer,
Oh yeah.
right?
In the game it was like 70 people have joined at some point and added something to the game. It's a pretty big game for an indie developer. Yeah.
Sounds like it. Like, and it also sounds like that Toy Tactics here had quite the protracted development history. Like, um, but we can get into that in a little bit later. First of all, for the uninitiated, what is Toy Tactics?
Toy Tactics is a strategy game. But the different thing that we are doing is that we control units by drawing on the battlefield. So you can control an army just by drawing lines on the battlefield, just to place your infantry, archers, cavalry, and any kind of unit you have.
Hmm. Kind of reminds me of something I would have seen on the Wii or the Wii U in terms of the control scheme.
Yeah, uh we wanted to create a new way to control strategy games because the classic square selection and giving orders by clicking, it's kind of messy when you get into battles. So we wanted something that you can control anytime and you can set your units and your positions anytime in battle. Even if you're in the middle of a big battle, you can pause and replace or redraw your formations at any time, and you can draw back your archers from battle, or you can, I don't know, charge against the enemy or surround some formation. So we wanted to make something that was dynamic and simple so that anyone could, even if you're not a strategy player, you can join and learn how to play in just 5 minutes. So you don't need 2 hours tutorial to learn how to play a strategy game. And I think we did it. We found some way that you can play a strategy game even with a controller. So the control scheme is kind of strange if you are used to RTS games. But once you get it and you forget about the old controls and you get used to the new controls, it's quite intuitive, and you learn how to manage everything very fast. So it's a
Hmm.
nice process to learn how to play this way.
Now, was there any particular reason you used toys for the aesthetics, the play, the figures that you move around, that sort of business?
It was a process. I started creating the game alone. I made a prototype, and I wanted to make battles with thousands of units. So my approach was to um, minimize the units as much as possible. So I wanted to have kind of stick figures with just I don't know, just the torso and head and hands, waving the just like Rayman, just the hands floating. And I wanted to differentiate units by just the sword, shield, and helmet. And so I created this kind of small different units, and I wanted it to be fully physics based. So that's why they are kind of roly-poly toys that try to uh, stay up somehow. So we when I hired my artists, they improve the design. They make something very beautiful, and then I we just rejected the stick figures, and we wanted to make full units that have this aesthetic you have right now. If you get close to the units, you can see the units are very detailed, and now they are more complex and more beautiful. But we didn't know how to fix the I don't know how to set everything together, the aesthetics with the story, and how to make how to join battles between Romans and samurais and pirates. So this we made this kind of we had different ideas in mind, and we put everything together because one of the idea was kind of a toy battles because with toys you can do everything. You can join tanks and you can attach catapults and get into a car into battle and do everything together.
Yeah,
But
like especially a lot of like little boys when we were kids had a mix of
yeah,
various time period toys thrown in a bucket.
yeah, anything is valid. Anything is okay. You can do anything with toys. So
Yeah.
that was awesome for
This
this kind of
week
game. That's
on
kind of
Romans
crazy.
versus Cowboys.
Isn't that just
Yeah, why
Deadliest
not?
Warrior?
Don't don't give away their writing secrets.
The show's long dead.
I know.
Like,
And the other idea was to use Valhalla, this kind of
hmm
every soldier that has died somehow, somewhere,
Like a more
any time
expanded
battle.
version of Valhalla where it's not just Norse, it's basically like all different warrior like
Yeah,
clans. I know they're not. I'm just doing that as a simplified term.
yeah. So our world is kind of both. It's kind of toys representing the souls of fallen warriors in battle. So in this world you have right now, if you these are the relics you have
Yeah.
collected in the chests. Yeah, you can equip one at any time for any one of your unit types. Uh, Suppose you have collected all of them in the levels. You have collected one,
hmm
you can try it.
And like
And
you
it,
can see like what each of them do. It seems.
yeah, you can take all of them. They are all references to films and
Yeah, I just literally saw a Sword of Damocles. Like, oh,
oh
we're
yeah,
doing this time.
yeah. We use some kind of a joke as a first
Spear of
sentence, and
Destiny.
then the
All right.
yeah, and then explain what it does. Yeah. Different. These are kind of passive abilities. So selecting one or another are going to make you use the unit in a different way. So, for
hmm
example, you can see in the infantry, uh, you can increase the damage, just setting the enemies on fire, or you can deflect arrows and make your infantry more defensive. So you can support, or you can avoid attacks from
hmm
archers.
So if it's like saying you're going to be going up against a bunch of archers, you're going to
Hmm,
want to use this sword when if you
that's right.
just want to mow down like bland-based infantry who don't have archers, get the fiery.
Yeah. Yeah, different levels can require different relics. Usually, the game is not so demanding that you have to change relics all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do that, and you can do that online. You can select different relics for different battles, so you can
Mm.
empower different abilities. If you zoom out here, you can see the full world. This is our Valhalla. This is the Roman Empire
Yeah, I can see the
campaign.
boot,
It's kind of
clearly Italy.
yeah, kind of Italy. Yeah. And if you move around, you can see the other islands. So you can see Japan for the samurai. You can see England for the medievals.
Right.
So it's kind of you will see the different campaigns a long time. We have the full game is kind of 30 hours gameplay, so it's plenty of time to experiment with everything. You have to ask the first level is the testing level for dragging formations and moving and rotating and everything. Now you can try the drawing formation in the next level. You can change color here if you prefer to
hmm
change the colors of your armies. This is good for colorblind people too. So
hmm
if you need armies to be different and choose different colors, this is a good way to. to understand everything.
And this is going to the drawing mode where I can like make my formations with that paintbrush
Yeah,
thing. It looks like.
yeah. Now next tutorial is about drawing formations. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Um, so how many civilizations or warriors are there in total?
Hmm. There are five armies, five factions in the game. You have the Roman Empire that's based in fire and construction, the Medieval Empire that's based on ice and magic, the samurais that are based on stealth and poison, the pirates that are based on gunpowder, so they are all ranged units, and the necromancers that are the skeletons you are fighting against, that are they use corruption and they can rise the dead and get a new army from the corpses of the battlefield.
Hmm. Like
They have different
that's
spells, different relics. They play in a different way, but you always control your units and the spells just by drawing.
yeah. Now you mentioned trying to reconcile an actual story here.
Hmm.
Did that come to fruition, or is that just all like backdrop stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, are there actually like is there an actual campaign mode here?
Uh-huh. Yeah. There are five campaigns, one campaign for each one of the armies. And there is every campaign has a final boss at the end that you have to
Hmm.
beat. After the final boss, you get a new cinematic that's going to help you understand the full story. And if you fulfill the five campaigns, there is a secret something to do that's going to explain you the full story of the game. Yeah.
Like that's I suppose fairly elaborate for a game that looks like this, but it also makes sense since you've got five factions and um, the one true ending, I suppose, for like a better
Hmm.
term.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You have to finish all the five campaigns to see the real story because that there's something behind the game that's not explained from the beginning. You have to discover at the end. We have different gameplay modes too. We have a puzzle mode. You can play a mercenaries mode, in which you can buy units with a budget to finish different puzzles. There is a sandbox mode. You can play any kind of units in any number or all the spells or anything.
Now, is
We
it
have the
like mix and
multiplayers.
match units in the sandbox mode, or they all still have to be like the Romans or the?
In sandbox, you can do anything.
All
You
right.
can place any kind
So
of
I can
units in.
have like Romans and samurais if I wanted
Yeah,
to, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And you can mix it as infantry with half Roman, half pirates. So you can do anything. In multiplayer, the idea is to choose one faction and buy everything from the same faction. So you
Hmm.
choose Romans, and you have the Roman units, the Roman spells, the Roman relics, and you try to make the best you can do with the Roman Empire. But in Sandbox, you can do anything. It's up to you.
now, in terms of the multiplayer modes, I believe you told us that there's versus and co-op.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
now, in terms of co-op, how does that work exactly? Since there are like five campaigns,
Uh-huh.
like is there a separate co-op campaign here?
Yeah, Cope is different. It's like a long battle that you play together with a friend. So the idea is that you, um, with your friend together, are going to conquer a map. You're going to defend some areas that you have to conquer first and then defend because they are going to produce units for you along the battle. So you have half an hour to produce as much units as possible and you have to defend your positions from waves of enemies. So it's a long battle, difficult battle. You have to survive together, and you have to support your teammates. So maybe you are going to get archers, and your teammate is going to get cavalry. So you have to support the archers with your cavalry, and you have to work together to be able to win the battle.
Hmm.
That is the co-op mode. There are five different levels. difficult levels to play. Every co match lasts for half an hour, something like that, and it's hard to play. It's better for you to know the game first and
Mm.
then jump into the multiplayer for both. The versus is easier, but again, you need to understand part of the game to be able to play it properly. The idea with versus is you have a budget and there is a level. The different levels have different configurations. So maybe one is, I don't know, a narrow path, and you have to use something that improves your performance in narrow paths, or maybe some level has a cliff, and you can use spells to throw the enemy through the cliff, or maybe you have to defend a high position or conquer an area. So different levels have different abilities. And you have a budget. You have to buy your units, buy your spells, and use all you can against your enemy. So it's a 5 minute battle. You're going to play in just 5 minutes and replay and rematch and try to beat your enemy as fast as possible. So it's fun to play.
Hmm. And how long ago did Toy Tactics come out?
Uh, from the beginning, or
Like, I guess it's 1.0 release.
yeah. We launched the game 1 month ago in September. We launched the game, so it's just released. We have been developing the game for 8 years now, so it was a long travel to arrive to this point. Because as I told you before, I was alone when I started,
Yep.
uh, and now we will release all the platforms because we're porting the game to PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series S and X, S and X, and Switch. So we will launch the ports in I guess February.
Hmm. And are you handling porting duties yourselves?
Yeah, with some help, but yeah.
Hmm. Not surprising. In terms of the Switch version, are you having to make any compromises to get it to fit on that platform?
Yeah, we had to make a lot of different things
Mm.
to be able to fit all this into the Switch. It was hard to make right. The main thing that was required was to reduce the distance to draw because we have so many units and they are all physics based that it's difficult to have everything in the screen at the same time and render everything all the time. So it was difficult to support all these units. Yeah, right now you have only a few, but we support battles with 500, 1,000 units, and that's hard to move on Switch.
No
But
doubt, no
but it
doubt.
works. You
Huh.
have to lower the quality. You're not going to find, for example, these shadows or the grass in the ground or the high quality textures. So we have to reduce the quality, but it looks pretty nice.
Mhm.
It does. Now, in terms of the physics, um, were those hard to implement?
Uh, the problem with physics is that when you decide that your game is going to be physics based, everything is going to depend on physics, and that's a problem. Uh, I
Gee,
don't know if you
guys,
have
do you ever
tried,
think
but
maybe we made a mistake in this one? In that
don't
situation?
worry. Yeah, you can miss some. We have primary objectives and secondary objectives, so you can miss some secondary objective. It's not a
Mhm.
problem. You can continue.
Yeah.
Some people want to retry and retry until they complete every challenge, but that's not important at the
Hmm.
beginning. Only that's going to be just resources to buy new spells.
Mm.
Right now, you're going to see the spells. Next tutorial is just going to show you how to use the spells, and that's it. You're ready to go. There's not much more tutorials to do. It's just this: drawing to place your units, drawing to cast spells,
Hmm.
and that's it. Now it's all about the strategy, using the cavalry properly, the heavy units, the infantry, and your king and queen, and and that's how you win. We have spells for everything. You can see we
Yeah,
have damage
I'm just looking
spells, we
through
have
them right now just
reinforcements. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
Do it.
kind of show
Go
off
ahead.
for the people.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We have explosive spears. We have a fire tornado down on the left. We have meteorites. We have
And all of these
Trojan
spears are
horse.
exclusive to the like Roman faction. There are more
Right.
different spells for
Yeah.
like the other ones.
These are based on fire. You can see the fire
Mhm.
tornado. You can see the explosive picks. You can see a meteorite
Now, like, how
or a
different are there? Like, is there just like a poison tornado for like the samurai faction, or
no,
is it
they're
more?
different. There's no
Yeah,
poison tornado. For example, the pirates have a Sharknado. That's
of course they do.
that's but there are not more tornadoes in the game. So
Yeah.
different factions are going to have really different spells. Sometimes some things are common, for example, damaging spells or explosive spells. All of them have something that explodes. But for
Mhm.
example, in Samurai, you can place a mine that explodes when you're close, and here you can throw amphora that explodes with fire when you throw them. They explode automatically. So they're used in a different way. They work in different manners. So you can choose, or you have to choose different things when you use them.
Mhm.
So some are going to be some spells are more effective against infantry. Some spells are more effective against big units. Some spells are going to block the enemy so that you can use another spell to make more damage when you concentrate the enemy in the same point. So you can combine the spells. So they are more effective too.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And what's been the reception of Toy Tactics so far?
Very good. We still lack some. We need to reach more people, but the people that are playing are very surprised about the game. This toy-looking game. Some people think it's or I guess it looks like the game is simple and it's not going to demand too much for
Mhm.
you from you. But when they start playing and find how the mechanics are different from other strategy games, how fun it is because it's all very simple, very crazy, and all the text and the jokes are pretty fun, and you can enjoy and just play and have fun for a lot of time. People are very surprised by the game, and they find the game is new, different, fresh, and the reviews are very positive. We have 95 positive reviews on Steam, 95%, and we have only a few negative because we are still not supporting multiplayer in China because there was a problem with Photon that
Mhm.
we will should fix tomorrow or something like that. But the other reviews are mainly positive. We have reviews now from press. We have an 85 or a 90 yesterday. We have been nominated in Portugal. We won an award in Spain. We have been nominated in India too. So we're very proud of the game we have built.
Hmm, that's good. Like, has it been selling well?
Yeah, but slow. We are struggling with getting the game known by people. That's our main
Uh,
problem right now.
isn't that a familiar refrain these days? Yeah, it's really hard for indie games to stand out or get noticed due
Yeah,
to a lot of factors. Like,
yeah. Last year there was like 14,000 games launched on Steam, so it's crazy to get noticed by someone.
yep,
Mhm.
like, and So, what's your next project, if you can talk about it? Hello?
I'm here. I think I guess might be having connection issues.
Oh.
I too am still here.
Um, Antonio?
Oh, sorry. I I think I mute this by error.
All right.
Yeah, I think we have a few ideas. I don't know which one is going to win the the contest, but we have a few ideas. One of them is to continue this world, but make a different game, different approach, and different way to play, but keeping this physics-based crazy gameplay. Probably not so strategy or so general, but making a different game in the same world, something like that. But there are different ideas with different genres, even VR games or something like that. So it's difficult to say right now.
Makes sense, given that you've um, just wrapped principal development on this and are you're still working on the ports.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah. We
like,
just finished the port. We have to pass the validations and TRCs and these kind of things. But yeah,
mhm.
we just finished the ports right now.
Mm.
Well, hopefully the console versions of the game fare as good or possibly better than the Steam version.
I hope so. I hope that it's going to help us getting the game noticed. If we launch in several platforms and more people is going to discover the game here and there, probably we're going to sell more just because when we launch in PlayStation, we're going to make an impact too in Switch or whatever. So I hope the game is more known a long time. We'll see.
Hmm.
Indeed. Right. So I think that's about it for my questions. Anything further from you two?
Not that I can think of offhand.
I think I'm good.
All right. So Antonio, I want to thank you for being with us here today and taking time out of your schedule to talk about toy tactics. It's been most enlightening. Um, anyway, so you can pick it up on Steam right now, and it is coming to consoles in February, and it's retailing for $24.99. So be sure to pick it up today. Petty, play us to the next segment. All right. So welcome to the topic of discussion for the week. Right. So at time of recording, we are just a few days out from Nintendo's big holiday title,
Mm.
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Yes, even though
So
reviews have been out. So,
yeah, reviews have been out. It's been garnering mixed attention. Like
indeed.
IGN was surprisingly harsh on Brothership.
I think part of it
Uh,
is because of how good of a score they gave Sonic Generations because people were real pissed off at that for some reason.
I mean, the Sonic fandom pissed off about
Well,
something.
no, they gave it a
Or,
very. It wasn't the Sonic fandom. It was just everyone like, why are you giving like an old game a good review? It's
I
like
mean,
because it's still one of the best Sonic games that ever was made.
right, but that's Sonic
Yeah, it's
Generations.
like don't get me started on that, please.
That's why I'm veering
Yeah, steer.
away back to Brothership here. I'm like, um, anyway, yeah, but yeah, Brothership is the first time in about 10 years we've seen a new proper Mario, Mario and Luigi game, being handled by a new team because Alpha Dream has been dead since 2019, I think. Like,
I thought it was 18, but regardless, it's been a while.
yeah. Anyway, so with that in mind, I thought it would be prudent to go back to the beginning uh, and talk about the original Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Like, and I suppose its subsequent 3DS remake, um, Bowser's Minions, or no, it's like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. Yeah, for the remake, they added in a new campaign where you get to play as Bowser's minions as they search for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, though the biggest thing about the remake is the controversial art style. I'm like, and yeah, I wasn't a fan of the remake's art style. I much prefer the GBA pixel art.
And that's one of the funny things about like GBA era. We're probably not really going to get that style of pixel art again.
No, like that was really the last bastion of Nintendo's sprite work.
Yeah.
Like, and it's particularly noteworthy with the Mario and Luigi series because one of the hallmarks is just how animated it all is.
Right.
You know, um, maybe not the most cartoony of the Mario RPG branches, since they're all Mario, so they're all a bit of a cartoon.
Right.
But
We're,
it's the
we're not going to
one
get a grim dark Mario. Y'all just quit asking for it.
oh god, what is it, 2003?
And yet people still want it.
Yeah. Anyway, um, it's the it's known for its exaggerated movements and big gestures.
Mm-hmm. The squashing and stretching of the sprite.
Yeah, very prominent. Not
Mm-hmm.
just on Mario and Luigi. Everyone's very animated in this thing.
Right.
Um, Especially like compared to, say, Paper Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think this is also the game that fully introduced the Italian gibberish.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Um,
Though a lot of that was also just hardware limitation. You couldn't exactly fit an entire vocalized conversation on a GBA cart.
no, but they did put in some actual words
Mm-hmm.
um, into the mix,
Hmm.
and but that's not that's just one aspect of Superstar Saga, um, showing off the true capabilities of the GBA. Mainly because this is really the only original Mario game that was done for the system. All of the platformers, they're ports.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and yeah, they did have some work done on them, especially like Super Mario Advance.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty close to their Super Mario All Stars counterparts.
Right.
Um, Superstar Saga here was, an original game that was built for this hardware, so it can actually have, take advantage because the GBA is actually more powerful than the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that really does come across when you play the games that were actually made for it rather than the Super Nintendo ports.
Though it does, if you're not dealing with the smaller screen and the
Yeah. They
uh, not as good sound stuff and the not as many buttons to control with.
Yeah.
Right. That wasn't what I was getting at, though. Um, it's just I'm
No,
talking
I'm just
about
saying
in
those
terms
are
of
the things that you might get
yeah.
distracted by when you're playing one of the ports.
Hmm.
Yeah. And anyway, so the big draw here is it's reteaming Mario and Luigi, only this time through a JRPG.
Well,
Like,
because the previous Mario RPGs had all had Luigi in at best a guest starring role,
Hmm.
mhm.
or rather as I should say a guest character role, not a guest star.
Like Super Mario RPG, he was little more than a cameo.
If that, yeah.
No, he was there. He's the parade band leader at the end of the game.
Mm.
Plus, you do come across like Luigi's Wish.
Right.
Um, but regardless, yeah. So this is teaming up with this is teaming up Mario and Luigi, and one of the big jokes where your mileage will probably vary a great deal is nobody can remember who Luigi is. It's a meta commentary on Luigi's place in not just the Mushroom Kingdom, but the wider world.
Hmm.
Or at
You know,
least his
the
name,
yeah, it's like they will call him Green Mario, Greeny.
green
You know,
mustache.
yeah, you Lou Guy,
Hmm.
you know, etc. etc. Um, though in the case of this one, it's good natured.
Yeah.
Um, because that became a problem. I think I want to say in Paper Jam, where they did not like Luigi
Yeah.
by that
It
point.
went from funny jabbing to damn near malicious.
Yep. I'm like, and the big conceit here is you can control Mario and Luigi with the touch of a button.
Hmm. Literally,
You
in
know,
fact.
yes. Like all of their actions are junctioned to either the A or B button.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a few different move sets. There's of course there's the jumping. There's the usage of a hammer, which is a Mario RPG staple.
Hmm.
There
And goes
the
back to Donkey Kong.
Yes. Um, there are the powers. Mario gets fire, of course, but curiously, Luigi gets lightning or thunder, as it's called in the game. Thunder's the sound, lightning's the actual um, electricity.
They
Hmm.
probably figured there was more that they could do with that I mean, like ice wasn't really a thing yet that they
Yeah.
got,
Right.
and notable because in Brothership, I believe Luigi gets ice for
Well,
one of the.
wasn't it also like slightly different in Japanese or something like that?
I don't recall.
Mm. I could be wrong on
It's
that. It's been a while since I've looked into that.
it's possible. Um, and you get like assorted Metroidvania style progression moves, um, of which there are a lot. I won't do the rundown here because there are so many, but just a couple of examples are like at the beginning when you get the high jump or the whirlwind jump, which um, are like they're less combat focused and more you are using these to get through a level, which is this game is very much in the structure of other Mario RPGs, just with its own spins. Um, No pun intended. Like, and of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the actual plot and villains. Some of the most memorable stuff here, as we get
Because we decide to
introduced
go for decide to leave mushrooms behind and go to the land of beans.
yeah, the Bean Kingdom, a kingdom that we have never heard from before, and we haven't heard from since. I'm like, unless it did a cameo in another game that I'm not aware of, but it's a very Mario setup. Like, as um, Princess Peach gets her voice kidnapped instead of the full kidnapping, at
Hmm.
least at first.
Hmm.
You know, because another joke is after you rescue the princess's voice, she wants to go to Little Mushroom Kingdom, and they have to traverse through a desert. And the thing is, you have to keep the princess from literally being kidnapped. If she, unless she move off screen
Oh
and
no.
do that. Uh, yeah, it's the challenge of the level, and once again, it's kind of a statement on the ease of which Princess Peach gets kidnapped.
Hmm.
But probably the most memorable addition to the Mario canon lore, um, whatever you want to put it, is the introduction of Cacletta, and more specifically, Fawful, like, who quickly became a fan favorite due to his very um, specific localization. Um, you know,
Yeah,
I have,
some of it's present in the original, but they definitely increased the eccentricity of his phrasing when he's insulting people.
yeah,
Hmm.
not just when he's insulting people, but when he's going on about Cacletta's plans. He's talking about the mustard and sandwiches and all that stuff.
Uh huh.
You know, I mean, he was so memorable. He came back in other Mario and Luigi games. Like he had a cameo in Partners in Time,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
if I'm recalling correctly, I think he was the main villain in Bowser's Inside Story. So definitely somebody who um, got exposed to the popularity power.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now, as far as Cacletta goes, pretty typical Mario villain. Um, if I'm being honest, just instead of wanting to kidnap the princess, um, she wants to use her voice to activate a mystical object in order to rule the world. You know, um, so her motivations aren't anything special. It's more the presentation and the execution that made her memorable.
Hmm.
And of course, there's a whole bunch of wackiness abound in in typical Mario RPG fashion,
Hmm.
like having to go to a fancy soda um, winery.
Sure.
Well, it's presented as
It's
a
a
wine.
brewery of some
Yeah,
sort.
Yeah.
yeah. Where you have to get the fanciest soda in order to purge a worm.
As one
Like,
does.
yeah, yeah, it's a whole quest where you have to get what they call goblets, but are very clearly champagne flutes.
Mm,
Like, and you end up having to fight the soda, which has been powered via jokes over the course of 1,000 years. Look, Mario gets weird.
yeah.
And I can't say that's
The
any
jokes make it bubbly.
yeah, and I can't say that's any more weird than having to fight a giant bunt cake.
I mean, or a giant evil turtle, but, you know.
And that was more a direct correlation from another Mario RPG.
Mm. I
You
was just
know,
more talking about just Mario in general.
yep. Like anyway, Superstar Saga is generally considered to be the second best of the lineage. You
Hmm.
know, Bowser's Inside Story is generally considered to be the top of the franchise, with everything else being middling to, well, Paper Jam.
Hmm.
Look, Paper Jam hates its own existence. There's a YouTube essay on this.
I was about to say, was Paper Jam the one that pulled the Sonic 06 and wrote itself out of existence? Or.
I think so. Like, Paper Jam's the quote unquote crossover, um, i.e., we got Paper Mario in Mario and Luigi.
Mm,
He's more, it's a Mario and Luigi game that happens to guest star Paper Mario
right.
because it's not really a Paper Mario game in any real sense because the entire thing was done by Alpha Dream. Alpha Dream, they're the ones who did the Mario and Luigi RPGs. They never touched any of the Paper Mario games. That's the domain of
Hmm.
intelligent systems
As I say, wasn't
and
that
Vanpool.
intelligent? Yeah.
Now, granted, Vanpool did also do code development duties on some of the Mario and Luigi RPGs, but they weren't the ones handling the scenario and the creative side of the game.
Hmm.
Anyway, now if you actually want to go and play Superstar Saga, it is available on the Nintendo Switch Online expanded service. It's a part of the GBA collection.
Mm.
In fact,
That
there
of
was a
which I
launch
do
title.
not have, so that's why we don't have footage of it.
Yeah, but the overall point is, it is readily available
Mm.
to those who want to experience it. Now, honestly, it's more accessible than any of the other Mario and Luigi
Yeah,
RPGs
I
right
believe
now.
Paper Jam is like one of the three titles still stuck on the Wii U.
No, no, Paper Jam was a 3DS game.
Oh, 3DS. I thought it was Wii U. What was the
Nope,
3DS one then?
you're thinking of Paper Mario Color Splash.
Yeah, it was Killer Splash. Yeah. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Ignore me. I mean, it's still trapped on the
um,
3DS, and good luck getting it on the Switch. But
right. I mean, like I said, the everything else is either stuck on the DS or the 3DS.
hmm
Um, so maybe that changes in the future.
hmm
Um, but like I said, for right now, only the GBA version of Superstar Saga is, you know, available
hmm
on a active system.
right.
So anyway, so I think that'll about do it for Superstar Saga here, and indeed that'll about do it for Fragments of Silicon. So coming up on the week ahead, on Friday, November 8th, we'll be having Gabe of Gabaco Games, as we will be talking about the Bubbo franchise, of which there are a lot of games. far more than I think anyone would ever guess. Like, there's like 6 or 7 games here.
Huh.
And we'll be talking about what I believe is the latest release, Bubbo Burst. And coming up on the Sunday reviews, we'll be having reviews of Artifice, War Tactics, The Last Shot, Hidden Through Time 2, Myths and Magic, and Valis, the Phantasm Soldier Collection. So, until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.